I'm Tor Hagen, the chairman of Viking. In 2022, I finally made it to Antarctica. It had been my dream since I was a child when I sent this letter. I was a stamp collector, so I mailed it to my sister via registered mail to the bottom of the world, hoping it would be returned. The place I mailed it to, Ushuaia, Argentina, which is also the jumping off point for my exploration of Antarctica. Accompanying me were my neighbors in Oslo, lively Lene and her partner Roland Nils, and Finn, a renowned physicist and longtime friend. Lene kindly volunteered to operate the iPhone to capture some film for friends and family that could not join me on this trip. And I hope you enjoy following along on what has become one of the most enjoyable trips of my life. On day one, we set off from this historic port and wound our way through the Beagle Channel before turning south toward the legendary Drake Passage and Antarctica.
Ja, hvordan tenker du at du på Drake Passage nå?
Well, it's either the Drake Passage or the Caribbean, but it's pretty cool, I must say.
So what do you like the best?
I like the best where we are here and now, regardless of where here is and regardless of where now is. But it's a phenomenal experience. We are now on day 2 on our trip to Antarctica. We have been fortunate during the night. We had a little bit of rolling. I took a couple of seasickness pills. I didn't want to embarrass myself, but it turned out that was not needed. And today the sea is, as you can see, quite smooth, and it's very pleasant cruising on the Drake Passage now. This ship is well equipped. It has pods, so it's very easy to navigate. Of course, when we look after, Finn, you know what we have?
That's called turbulence, I guess.
It's called turbulence.
Yes.
We're trying to have as much laminar flow as possible.
Ah, laminar, yes, certainly.
But now this is turbulent.
In order to avoid friction, I guess.
Yeah, it takes up that's all that foam is wasted energy.
Probably, yes. True.
So you have to have as little foam as possible. While most guests relaxed on day 2, I headed down to the hangar to check out our submarines. But not before the crew checked out my flexibility.
You can bend your knees.
Is this bending knees?
Yes, that's exactly what you have done. You're doing better than 90% of the game.
Being a curious person, I had to have a peek inside. Climbing aboard is easier than it might appear. On a vessel like this, every inch matters, so there's even a very specific method to enter.
Ja. Hvordan tror du dette går?
So far, so good. Once inside, it's relatively spacious, as submarines go.
Can you tell them that I said they will stay there until tomorrow, so it's easier?
Can you bring a gin tonic? The technology on board is impressive, but beyond that, I found one detail quite comforting.
Forskjellen, en inch, vil du si, en tomme?
2 inch.
2 inch. 2 inch, ja. 2 inch thick.
Oh yeah, it is. Wow, it's very thick.
Still, my neighbor Lene remains a bit less than relaxed about the dive yet to come.
So how was it to go into the submarine today?
Today was fine. It was on dry land, or at least in the hangar. So we'll see what it is tomorrow, but that's another day.
So what do you think if I panic tomorrow in the submarine? What are you going to do?
Well, then I just say it as it is. Calm down, there's nothing to worry about. It's more a problem if I panic.
That's the problem, but you never panic. Okay, so now we are at the Drake Passage, and tomorrow we are nearly seeing the shore. We are seeing the shore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be great.
Very good.
Goodbye.
We talk later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Today is day 3. We have seen land for the past few hours, and we are about to enter the Fournier Bay. And I must say, it's the beginning. It's snowing a little bit. We see a island here on the horizon. I think the mountain is called Mount Francis. I don't know how tall it is, but you see how it's quite impressive. But we haven't seen much wildlife yet, but I'm sure that will come. The temperature is about 0, if I should judge by the substance of the rain falling. We have had a little glühwein, so that's nice. And we have lots of nice guests on board. Day 3 is quite perfect.
Why?
Well, first of all, I slept till 9:30 this morning, which I think is what you should do when you're on vacation. And then a slight breakfast. Then
What did you have?
Oh, no. I had egg and bacon and a glass of oranges. But it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And then we are now on the bow of the Viking Polaris. And as a matter of fact, the sun is coming out for a brief second, so it starts to warm already.
So what do you think about the scenery?
Yeah, well, it's very pretty. And I'm sure when the clouds will lift at some stage, it will be even more so. How about you?
I am in heaven. No, I'm in Antarctica.
Yeah.
Antarctica is heaven. This is heaven. Look at this.
Yeah. So we now had our first sightings of whales. I think we've seen 3 or 4 whales out here. So it's quite spectacular. Here we have one. Right next to the ship.
So, you like the trip so far?
Well, so far so good.
Not good.
So
Excellent.
So far so good. I often say I'm never happy. It's not in my job description. But on this trip, I might have come close. Once the sun broke through, the activities really came to life. We took one of the SOBs, Special Operation Boats, out to stretch its legs. These boats are fast, dry, and exhilarating. Our next adventure, the submarine. We have 4 of them between the 2 ships. You'll notice they're yellow and named John, Paul, George, and Ringo. We started with a fitting of specialized boots, then was on to Lene's big challenge. I'm happy to report that after some initial apprehension, fascination replaced fear once we were dipped below the surface. Okay, guys. After returning, we had to ride in one of the Zodiacs to get closer to the elements. Shows your tail.
Whoa. Yeah, look at the iceberg.
No, but look at the mountains. It's a phenomenal thing.
Yeah. So what do you think, Mr. Hagen, when you see this, the iceberg?
Well, there's the dimensions of the iceberg compared to the Polaris. It's really impressive. And I think it helps to have a large ship down here in terms of fighting the elements. It's a phenomenal day here. Highly recommendable.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Actually, we had one more thing to do before we called it a day.
Hello.
And that was head to the bridge to enjoy a meetup with our sister ship, Viking Octantis.
You must be very proud.
It's pretty cool, I'd say.
This is pretty cool.
It is really cool.
Fantastic. Look at the other ones also on the boat, yeah.
So this is Octantis now.
I understand you are visiting us today, so because we visited you, or they visited you last time. So it's a very nice, it gives us a very nice feeling to have such a special occasion. So I think we should congratulate you and everybody else for a job extremely well done. Thank you.
Well, thank you. It's an honor. So yeah, we're really happy to be able to do this meeting with Polaris down here.
It was a perfect way to close the day. one I won't forget soon. So this is day 4, I think, on our cruise. I must admit today, we had a very busy day yesterday. So after a long day, we went to bed late, and I slept late this morning, and then I decided to just spend the afternoon cleaning out emails and stuff like that. So I've not been a tourist today. So I haven't seen all the wonderful things. But Johan, you can tell what we have seen.
So what we have seen today in Breakwater Island is a little small island with penguins, Gen 2 penguins, which is a colony that's here as well. But in the morning early we started with humpback whales, some orcas, and of course a few of the sheepbills that's flying around the ship at the moment.
But it's been a wonderful day for everybody, I think. And now it's 7:15, and you're pulling up all this stuff. By 7:30 we should be ready to have dinner.
So how was your day, Miss Hagen?
I had a nice massage.
What about all the penguins? What think about the penguin?
Now we'll see penguins later.
Oh, you see it.
I'll do that next time I come here. But yesterday was a very wonderful day, I must say. So I think that made up for a lot.
Yeah, thank you for helping me with the claustrophobia.
Yeah, you have fear.
I did.
Who would have thought?
You never have fear. You are fearless.
Yeah, well.
You are the
now,
Viking. You
now,
are
now
Mr.
I am.
Viking.
It used to be different earlier, but now I am.
And now you are. And now he gets never fearless.
Oh,
When he gets very fearless.
now I'm getting a little bit worried.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, this is day 5 on our journey to Antarctica. We have had a very busy day today. Decided we didn't have time to do this filming until now, after dinner. So I'm well and tired after dinner downstairs. We have had a phenomenally interesting day. We have been in Paradise Bay, and there's something called Brown Station there. And this is really the mainland of Antarctica. We did not set foot there today, but we did some other interesting things. We saw at least 25 whales. Unbelievable, they say. We saw a lot of penguins, and we saw a sailboat, believe it or not. So it's been very, very interesting day.
And we have forgotten that you were in the laboratory.
Indeed. However, before going to the laboratory, we headed out in a Zodiac to conduct research and gather samples that we would analyze upon our return. First, we employed a device known as a Secchi disc.
So the idea behind the Secchi disc is that we lower it into the sea until we can't see the white anymore. And that gives us some idea about the turbidity or the clarity of the water. With the hypothesis being that if there's a lot of plankton, this will disappear faster because the water is more murky in a way. Just gonna lower it so you can't see it anymore.
This bay had not been charted for plankton, and the new information we gathered will most certainly be helpful in future studies. That's about it, yes.
Excellent. Can we get a depth?
At our second stop, we used a specialized tool to gather samples for the lab.
This is a plankton net. We're going to lower it into the water and then drive along. And as we do, the water comes out of the net, and the microscopic plants and animals, the plankton, get caught in the net. And then we can collect them in this bottle, take them back to the ship, to the lab to observe them.
On the way back from Brown Station, we did gather plankton, and we could then see what the various planktons are. I think on this occasion it was only plant plankton, no animal plankton, but maybe that's later. But it's quite interesting to see in a microscope all these things that make up water. I wonder what tap water, I wonder what it will look like. And by the way, this ship is extremely well equipped with scientific equipment. We have a Norwegian polar explorer called Nansen, And there's something called the Nansen bottle, which he used to lower into the ocean to take samples of water, temperature, salinity, and so forth. And we have continuous monitoring of this in cooperation with various institutions, both in Norway and the US and the UK. So we are a traveling laboratory doing real research of value.
So what is the best memory so far from the Antarctica trip? Is this the whales? Is this the sound, the air?
I think what impresses me the most is, I mean, we've all seen pictures of whale tails go up and down. We've seen penguins. Sometimes I feel I walk like a penguin myself.
No.
But I think it's how huge things are. That is really the most impressive thing, I would say. Well, everything is so huge, and we're just seeing a tiny fraction of it all. So I think that's the most impressive thing. You can only come here and experience that to understand how big it is. I've been looking forward to day 6 since before our adventure began. Because today we are taking a special operations boat, then a Zodiac, on an exhilarating run as we headed for the hidden houseboat of Port Lockroy, home of the world's southernmost post office. The goal was to add a postmark from this exotic location to my childhood letter. Port Lockroy was established in 1944, the first continually operated British base in Antarctica. Stepping ashore after an effortless landing, we were greeted by some of the researchers that called Port Lockroy home for the summer season. Excited to have guests, they immediately began sharing details of their studies of the resident Gentoo penguins. An interesting piece of information was that several studies have revealed these characters have actually benefited from sharing their land with the humans, as the predators left, preferring to hunt elsewhere. Looking across the robust population, I was curious.
When do they mate?
The penguins.
Yeah.
It's fine.
They're just like us.
Exactly.
They do, really?
Well, they've been mating recently, so we've got eggs at the moment.
Yeah.
So we're just monitoring the eggs.
And how long do the eggs take to...
Around 35 days.
Yeah.
So we usually get the first chick here around Christmas Day. But because there's so much snow, I think everything's been pushed back a little bit this year.
Many know I do not crave being on camera. However, at Port Lockroy, Lene captured more footage of me than in the rest of my life combined. But ever the good director, she always wanted more.
Yeah, I just want one picture of him, but he doesn't want to do it. Kan du bare snu deg rundt, så får jeg sol i ansiktet, vær så snill. Det er jo så vanskelig, so difficult. It's so difficult, you know, it's so... Can you just turn around? Vær så snill, da. Jeg ber på mine knær.
Hva skal du gjøre da?
Jeg just around... Du kan gå bare litt grann. Sånn, ja. Få se det, du må jo se. Sånn, ja, så må du se på meg.
Deg?
Ja, jeg skal jo ta bilde. Hysj da. Det her er jo veldig morsomt.
Ja.
Ja. So what do you think? Now we are the post office. Den stillingen der går ikke. But you don't look like you're doing something.
Unfortunately, some of the scenes did not turn out quite as envisioned. With Lene happy, it was onwards, as I say, up to the post office. At Port Lockroy, there are 2 paths through the snow, one for the humans and one for the penguins. But I did notice many of the Gentoos preferred to share ours.
It's always the case. We build stairs.
Stepping inside, it's immediately apparent this place is one of a kind.
In the old days, before we had internet on ships, we communicated with each other. We used to just let people know whatever we needed to let them know here. Yeah.
Amazingly, this base has withstood the extreme Arctic climate since February 11, 1944, when it went into service as part of a wartime mission codenamed Operation Tabarin. It is now a historic site and museum that provides a fascinating glimpse into the past, while also continuing to deliver meaningful scientific research as well as education for travelers. And of course, once I told my story, the entire staff was excited to add their stamp to my childhood letter, since they represented the southernmost post office in the world. It's a fantastic day. We have been to the post office. We mailed our letters. I guess we will get home before they get home to us. But still, we met with a lot of penguins. They were not very worried about us. So, it's a very, very beautiful day. As the sun poked its head over the pristine mountain peaks, a thundering avalanche welcomed us to this stunning location. This was already a day for the ages, just like every one of the days that came before, as our quiet bay for the day 7 surrounded us with sublime beauty and the opportunities to explore. While I stayed on board, Lene and her husband took full advantage, kayaking.
There we are, kayaking. So I have to ask myself, is this really true? This is a dream. This is amazing. I cannot believe it. I'm not believing. Cannot believe. And today is actually also Christmas. I better not lose my phone now. Fantastic, isn't it? Oh. Enjoying themselves, huh?
In the afternoon, once Lene and Olav Nils were back on board our ship, we headed to the top deck to witness more Viking scientific research. In coordination with NOAA, our scientists launch a weather balloon on every voyage to gather high-altitude data. The balloon collects a broad spectrum of data which is downloaded and studied by the onboard team and shared across the globe. This helps the world better understand the vast wilderness. While Christmas fell on day 7 for Europeans, the festivities continued day 8 for our US guests. I use the time for something I've always wanted to do. Spend more time with our Viking family to get to know them even better. Because on this trip, I was on holiday, so I had much more of that rare and truly scarce commodity, time. Their optimism and joy always inspires me. Wow! And of course, on board our Viking ships, the learning never stops.
I just want you to focus your attention now.
Our expedition leader spent the day lecturing in the aula, recapping all that we had experienced, continuing to challenge our brains and expand our knowledge on Antarctica, until the very last moment. So today, we'll be returning to Ushuaia. We are now in the Drake Passage. And the good news is that the Viking Polaris handles extremely well in rough seas. But we are now in the Hyde, which is on the bottom floor of the ship in front. And you will see things like that. The waves hit the windows. It's quite fascinating to sit here, quite frankly. So I think it shows how the waves are probably 8-9 meters at this time, and we're probably doing 17 knots, and against us we're having 40 knots wild winds. So it's this is a Drake Passage. And the hide is quite a place. Sort of supposed to be explorers that, when we compare it to the real huts that we saw the other day. I think the explorers would have been flabbergasted if they saw a thing like this. But I think it gives a feeling. We'll make it into Ushuaia tomorrow night. So we'll have another day of excitement on the sea. On day 10, the morning in Ushuaia greeted us with blue skies and sunshine. We promptly headed for the post office with the goal of adding another stamp to my 1957 letter. The postmaster was more than happy to oblige, and the local media showed up as well to document this event. It was a lot of fun, and it gave me a sense of accomplishment to complete a circle that I unknowingly started as a child. Today is day 11 on our journey. We are in Iguazu, as you can probably tell from the waterfalls behind me. Yesterday we flew in from Ushuaia to Iguazu, and then we took a boat ride up the river and into the waterfalls. We were just sprayed, full shower. It's one of the more memorable days of my life. It's a place I would recommend anybody to go at any age. It was quite an experience, and I think any Viking passenger should try this one before they go to Antarctica. I must admit, I had no idea Antarctica would be like this. I'm rarely at a loss for words, but on the white continent, I struggle to describe its grandeur. So I leave that to Lene, whose heartfelt thoughts captured its essence.
This is memories that will never be lost. It will always be in my soul. It takes you out to something that are larger than life, larger than yourself. When you come here, you become part of it all. And you have to be here to understand it. You cannot. I cannot explain it in words, because you just have to be and feel it. And I think that's it. That's it for me.